Hi everybody. Stand.
Whatever you want to, but I think you sound nicer when you stand here.
Okay. My name is Dr. Sandro Bill. I'm the director of Tenor Schools.
For the people in the room, how can the people in the room help you put more fire to this flame that you've started?
Okay, first and foremost, awareness, right?
Okay.
If it's possible, go into our social media handles.
And those are?
It's the Facebook. It's at T.
But tonight, thank you for coming out. We've got some exciting, in my view, some exciting entrepreneurs who are doing things that matter. We've got a team that's come all the way from Harare to pitch their idea. So really appreciate how they feel it's that important. And I'm sure you're going to be excited when you hear what they have to talk about tonight. And I'm extra excited because we've got another entrepreneur who I would like to think is now seasoned or got into a point where his understanding of the Zimbabwean landscape is at an advanced level. So he's going to talk about his business and sort of pitch it to us. And then we're going to have a bit of a deep dive with him tonight. So tonight, it's not going to be just hearing me speak. We're going to hear some much smarter, more good looking, by a little bit, people up on stage. So I want to encourage you to stand up on your feet because you are about to get your mind blown. So just stand up, get some blood flowing, shake off what needs to be shook off, and just look to the person on the side and say, "You ready?"
You're ready?
All right. Say it like you mean it. You ready?
Ready?
All right. Whew. Right. I don't know if I'm ready. All right. Let's grab our seats. So before I have the team come up, I just want to let those, how many of us are at Pitch Night for the first time? Just by show of hands. Just want to show you some love. Who's in the room for the first time? All right? Excellent. Well done. Show them some love. Come on, veterans. Huh? Come on, the veterans are not making enough noise. Eh? Come on, show them some love. All right, so for the benefit of the new members to the tribe, we come here every single month, usually the first Friday, but it's once a month. And the whole idea is this. What could happen if we gave an entrepreneur who's got an idea that they are testing, that they're running, an audience, and an opportunity to share their idea to veterans who are lovers of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs themselves, and knowers of people? What could happen if that idea that you share on stage got into the right ears? And the right ears could be on stage, it could be off stage, right? It's an introduction, it's maybe meeting your co-founder. And we want to create those spaces where we make success seem that much easier to get to. And we started this 2016. So if my maths is correct, I'm feeling shy now because I saw we've got a lot of university students. So if I get it wrong, don't worry. It's about 9 years now in Blair, right? That's correct, eh? Thank you, verified by the auditors. All right. About 9 years of doing this thing with a break in between COVID. And we've seen some amazing things. I've seen people who've been in this community go on to lead companies. There's entrepreneurs who not only went on reality shows like Simba Savannah to pitch their ideas, but now are working for international companies from the comfort of their home. So we see the value of just giving people a stage and letting them test their ideas. And hopefully, whilst you're sitting in your chair, as you hear these people talk about the work they're doing, you could also realize that you've got something in you that you can share, that you can start. And the difference between you and the wonderful people about to grace this stage is that they took the step to start. And they're brave enough to share what they've got on offer. And we can watch and know that when they come up, that could be our same path as well. All right, so with that being said, the first group, and I love this kid. He's from the city. His name is Anele. And he's one of the most determined young folks I've ever seen. Like, he puts his mind to something and he'll be on your phone. He'll call you and say, look, can we get on a call? I've got this idea. He does not give up on things before he's tested them. And I'm so excited that, Anele didn't come alone this time, but he's got a team with him. So him and Cheryl, right? I had the UZ, and they're working on some really interesting, on a really interesting idea. How many months ago? Was it 2-3 months ago, Anele, you called me and you're telling me about this plant And I had to act smart. Fortunately, it was over the phone. Had he been seeing my face, he would have realized I'd be like, eh? And he's telling me about this plant and how this plant is killing fish and marine life and all these things. And in my head, I'm like, okay, Anele, tell me more. And then he says, we want to build a business around it. And today I'm so chuffed that they've actually started doing stuff like that. So can we show some pitch night love to Anele and Cheryl as they come and talk to us about the work they're doing at UZ and with their community? Come on, guys, you can show some more love. All right, show some love from Ali. Oh!
Two. 1 second. Yes. 1 second. 1, 2.
Good evening, everyone. I like happy smiles, not long faces. You know, today I'm actually sick, I'm dying sick, but then when I'm seeing you guys, I'm like, are we all sick in this room? Or? So once again, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. This is a pitch night. I need some loveness. Thank you so much. All right, so I am Cheryl, and this is Anele. We're from the University of Zimbabwe, and we're under ICRES Private Limited. That's a company. All right.
Skip. 1 second. This one.
Okay. It was in April 2024, and we're having our semester brainstorming session when one of our team members, Shingisai, says, guys, for the past years now in my community, there has been complaints about an invasive waterword that has overrun the section of River Mukuvisi in my community, Waterfalls. So we immediately got down to research, and a few hours later, it turns out that this is a really big problem and a serious one too.
Umgoza Dam, now completely filled by this water hyacinth. Nzimwane Dam, Ncema Dam, Lake Kariba, Lake Mutirikwi, Silalamuhwa Dam, Lake Chivero, as well as other small wetlands within the areas of Pindura, Mutoko, Chinamona, all overrun by this invasive waterweed, the water hyacinth.
So now what's the problem really? I'm sure you're wondering. It's just that there's too much of it and it's becoming a burden instead of a benefit. It's a hazard to marine life, to local communities that depend on those water bodies for their livelihoods, to cities and towns that no longer have access to clean water, and to these authorities that are responsible for these water bodies. Estimatedly, it covers over 100,000 hectares of water surfaces in Zimbabwe, causing a financial loss of $10 million US. That is just disappointing.
It also affects water quality, agriculture, and public sector health because we realize the fact that 70% of Zimbabweans use lake water for drinking and for irrigation. The Ministry of Environmental Climate and Wildcare sector estimates that removing this waterweed annually from Lake Kariba alone is $1.5 million US.
And so we asked ourselves one question in the room. What if this abundant, fast-growing plant could be transformed from an environmental burden into something resourceful?
And thus, we began Aquaflora, the now called ICRES Private Limited, where we take this environmental nuisance and transform it into economic opportunities for the societies that are being affected.
By July 2024, we had created our first product prototype, a high-quality, lightweight board made from the processed water hyacinth that we named the Hydro Board. It's an alternative to wood-based fiber boards. This proved the concept works and earned us the opportunity to compete against Enexis teams in Asia, Kazakhstan, and we won. So since then, we have taken on our hyacinth-based paper products, an alternative to plastic packaging, and egg trays in addition to our hyacinth-based fiber boards.
We have consulted and had meetings with Emma, Zwina, Friends of Environment to seek expert guidance and seek collaborations with those companies. Recently, we had a meeting with the African Youth Initiative in Climate Change, and there is hope for another collaboration so that we can unlock the international stage and advocate for our cause.
So by using Water Hyacinth, we're also addressing two environmental problems. Firstly, the plastic pollution. Zimbabwe generates over 300,000 tons of plastic waste annually. And secondly, deforestation, with over 300,000 hectares of forest lost each year, largely for furniture and construction. Our boards do not do that.
Our support network. We've been fortunate enough to get an innovation hub status from University of Zimbabwe, the Student Affairs Department under the Dean of Students, our dedicated business advisory board, and their mentorship has helped us move on from idea to cause impact.
So our goal tonight is crystal clear: to secure sales contracts for our hyacinth-based egg trays. We're ready to supply farms, bakeries with a sustainable, locally maintained and made alternative traditional packaging. Our trays are durable, biodegradable, and competitively priced.
Whilst our hydropepper and hydropods are progressing towards the commercial stage, we've been able to commercialize our hydra crates, and we are ready to make deals. Are we ready, Cheryl?
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is iCris Private Limited signing out. Thank you.
You have reports as well. You have reports. I have reports on that.
Come on, this is good.
Just a second. Sorry. Give me a second.
Okay, thank you guys. And you know, it's weird. Technology always has a weird way of having the last laugh, right? The guys tested it time and time again, and their presentation was working. But just when you guys got on stage, it stops working. And well done. Let's just give them a hand for not stopping and just continue. All right, so this is one of my favorite times, because you've heard what they had to say. Hopefully you understood what they had to say, and the questions will tell us so. So you guys, just talk to me. My first question is, talk to me about this. What's different with this crate?
All right. Thank you so much for that question. What's different about this crate is it actually has two situations that are in line. Firstly, it's environmentally friendly. We spoke about the issue that we're obtaining this from an invasive water plant that is found in the rivers.
Okay.
And by clearing that, we're actually making the community have access to clean water, right? Secondly, this is durable and it's biodegradable, meaning unlike the ordinary egg trays that you have or you see on the market, whereby if they're in contact with water, they shuffle on spot. This one does not do that immediately. It's so strong that you can reuse it over and over again. For those of you that supply large companies and customers who give you these things back, you'll be knowing that you're good to go, and this is the thing to go to. So our trays are top notch. They are quality, they are product on spot, and environmentally friendly.
Okay. And how much are they? Anyway, let's move on. So you've got a question, remember how we do it? You tell us your name, where you're coming from, and you shoot off with your question, all right? Our team's gonna come to you. Just raise your hand and they'll come to you. They'll know to come to you. Right, we're gonna hand over here, Shep.
Hi, everybody.
Whatever you want to, but I think you sound nicer when you stand here.
Okay. My name is Dr. Sandro Bill. I'm the director of Taylor Schools and Leather and Order, and we focus around empowering entrepreneurs around Southern Africa. Wow. I think I really like the product that you guys are talking about. I understand also plastic waste is a big problem that you have in our city. And I know the connection of it has been something that has become difficult over time. So I wanted to find out, in terms of, two questions.
Yes.
Since this was created when you were still in university, how much of the IP does the university own? One. Two, what's the price difference from your original one that you buy off the market versus yours? And sorry, last one.
Okay, let's do two. Let's do two questions, and then we'll come back to you. Yeah. because I don't want them forgetting the question. So you guys got the questions, right?
I didn't get the first
So the
one.
first question was how, since you guys are they're still in university. So how much of the IP? So I guess the IP that's going into how you guys are taking, you call it what? Hisense?
What a hyacinth.
What a Hisense?
Yep.
Oh, private school things. Right. And the process, how much of that IP belongs to you versus the university? That was the first question. So we'll let you answer that one and then I'll get into the second question, right?
You want to take that one?
You can take it.
All right, thank you so much for that question. So this is actually a joint partnership with the University of Zimbabwe. The thing being that we're operating under it and we used the Innovation Hub to test our products and everything and develop it. So every time we're doing something, they have to be notified first beforehand. So the best part about this is that we have recently registered our company, the iCrest Limited, Private Limited. So we're about to become fully independent and operational without the guidance of the University of Zimbabwe, maybe 90%, if I may say. That's what I have to say about the question.
Excellent. So the second question is when you compare, and if I get it wrong, sir, please just say nonsense, please. All right. The second question is when you look at the price point for these crates, what's the difference between the price of these crates and what's already in the market? Correct? Excellent. Okay, let's move.
Okay, currently there is no difference. It's just the same market price. But like we said, our unique selling point then becomes the idea that these are sustainable, but also it's something that is being created from an invasive plant that affect the fishing communities. But thirdly, I think it's also about an idea of how we then use sustainable ways that doesn't cause deforestation of any sort.
Okay, so same price. Okay, we're gonna go to another question and come back to your third question. Is that okay? All right, go ahead there with Lucy.
I'm not sure if this question was asked, right? But my question now comes on the numbers. What's the cost benefit using this to your normal egg trade? Because egg trade costs like 10 cents, and how much does yours cost? So that's the first question. Then the follow-up question would be, what then would the customer be saving?
All right, that's a good
got the
question.
questions?
Yes,
Happy with- go ahead.
yes. That's a good question, but I feel like it had been addressed maybe in passing. It's okay, I'll just say it again. So he mentioned that our egg trays for now, we've got the same price as the ones that are in the market. The difference with our egg trays from the ones in the market is, okay, so before I say that, how many of you do eggs, like have layers and everything? Okay, good. So people know
Does
this.
it count if we just eat them?
Oh no. Maybe it does, yes. Have you ever noticed that when your egg trays are in contact with water, they just destroy, they just crumble? Have you ever noticed that? And it's bad because sometimes even when you're packaging and maybe one of the eggs just break, now you have to change the entire thing because it's no longer good for the market. That's what we have on the market right now. But what we are bringing, say, it's not that. What we are bringing is a dynamite. It's stronger, it's biodegradable. It's something that you're going to say, there's water that was spilt on this, the same amount of water you'd spill on the ordinary one. And you'd be like, oh, this one can just dry for a minute there and it's still good. This is what we are bringing. I'm not saying it's water resistant, Haibo, don't get me wrong. I'm saying that it's...
Don't put it in the sink and try and wash it.
Yeah, don't do that. It has that withstanding capacity. Like an iPhone. iPhone is not fully waterproof. It's got that limitation equity, you can do this. That's the same thing with our egg trays. You can use this anytime, anyway, and you still know you're good. That's what we're bringing into the market.
iPhone just makes it everywhere. It's like a monitoring spirit for quality. Are you answering this? Or could it be a part of the question that I thought I was picking up from you, or maybe that's my question out there. In terms of cost of making them, what's cheaper to make? Like there's the crates that they're making now, the materials they're using cost a certain amounts for them to charge 10 cents is selling price, is that correct? For them to charge 10 cents selling price, hopefully they're making a bit of profit on that. In terms of, when you look at producing this, how many cents does it, is it cheaper or more expensive, so that I don't get into your numbers? Or is it the same, or does the person producing this have the same price?
For our side.
Yeah, on the production cost,
Yeah, and the protection cost.
Okay, so basically, I don't think there's a business that can say we're operating without making a profit, right? Even if it's 3 cents or something, there has to be a profit. Because we all want to get somewhere at the end of the day. So the thing that is the only cost that we're incurring most of the time, not the only, is the need for manual labor. Because we need to physically harvest the water hyacinth from the rivers.
Okay.
That's our major issue.
Yeah.
And as for the production and everything, maybe I would say a rough estimation would be about R1 profit.
Okay.
Rough estimation. I will not disclose my numbers.
Okay, so it's a bit of a save. Any more questions? Yeah, we've got a question over there. Got a question over there.
Thank you, Jonathan Desalegn, and I'm from Zimbabwe.
So, John, do you mind standing up?
Okay.
People may want to see you. All right?
Thank you. So my question was, since you are university kids,
Students, don't call us kids.
my question was, is it more into a business thing or more into an environmental solution? Are you more into business or you are more into cleaning the water, removing the waste from the rivers? So,
All right. Thank you for that. Is that
a follow-up question?
follow-up question coming soon? All right.
Okay.
So go ahead, Daniel.
Okay, so it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It's what? Because what we are saying is that we realize the fact that cleaning this water bodies is $1.5 million for the per lake. Actually, that's Lake Kariba, right? In terms of annual cost, right? But also we realize that it's 10 million. It's costing 10 million to the fishing industry, right? So what we then do is that we take care of that problem, right? So we take this environmental nuisance and then we make business out of it, so that we also make profits out of us. So it's just killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Okay.
So maybe if I can ask, are you getting paid for cleaning?
That's good.
Since it's costing the government 10 million, are they giving you maybe a percentage of maybe cleaning that? I think that would also
Okay.
assist you.
Okay, I won't lie. Currently, we haven't got to that stage. What we've got is the access to those water bodies,
Which is big, right?
which is very big
Very,
because it's
very
also it's also saving us the cost of raw materials. Like we are getting raw materials for free.
Because confirm, even though it's costing the country 1.5, I don't think we are paying 1.5.
Exactly, exactly.
So we just know the price. We just not. Oh, 1.5. I put it. All right. All right, we got a hand over there.
Hi everyone, my name is Ola and I'm from Australia. I just want to find out, other than the X-rays right now, what is another future use case that you can use pilot for? And I think the second question is, if someone asks you how much you invest, how much you invest, what number is on that?
What, you guys got that? So what are the
Very
use
good.
cases? And maybe just to rehash, what can the people in the room help you with? Right, so is it investment? And you spoke about sales contracts. If you don't mind just breaking that down first. Go
Okay.
ahead.
All right, thank you so much for those 2 questions. So for the first one, if I got it right, you said, what other than egg trays, what else do you have in the market, right?
What else could you use it for?
Okay, good. So aside from having egg trays, unfortunately, we couldn't bring the rest of our products here.
Yeah,
We've got hydro boards.
Yeah.
Oh, can you go back to the slide?
yes, yeah.
All right.
All right, so you can talk us through what the different use cases are.
All right, thank you. So here we've got hydro boards. So those are very strong, durable boards that you can use on stools, wardrobes, and everything. These are the boards that we make. I've got this nice, lovely, smooth surface. Right now, I'm telling you, she's lying most probably. I'm not lying.
But it has.
It has this nice, smooth surface, and the thickness of it, it's so unbelievable. That's the hydro board, right? And then the other one that we have, we've got the hydro paper. Our hydro paper is similar to the day-to-day bond paper, but then with ours, it's a bit brownish for those people who don't want like the bright surface papers. And our vision is that within 5 weeks, within 2 weeks from now, those papers are going to be out there in the market because we're still trying to make them, the right ratios and everything. And someone's going to print something on it because we've got upcoming programs that we need to print on those papers as a test subject. So we've got those 3 projects now: the hydro paper, the hydro board, and the egg trace. That's what we have. We're still going to get to more. And then the second one was on what? The price.
Well, not the price. Is how much are you looking to get in investment? If you need investment support, financial, whatever, and what can the people in the room help you with?
All right. Okay, so what we need help with, like I said in our presentation, is we are in deep seek for sales contracts. We're looking forward to having people that we can partner with, supply bakeries, farmers, distributors of these egg trays, of those materials. And if need be, you can partner with us in financially. Financially, we'd be looking forward to making our hydro paper a test subject complete. That's what we need for now, but mostly we need sales. We need people who need to buy from us to support our business as university kids, like you said.
University kids have all right, so cool. So I think we've got a picture of that. And let me just make sure I've understood that some of the partnerships you're also seeking is people who package their products in materials that you can potentially include the material you're working with, so that it probably gives that biodegradable feel, but potentially even lowers their cost of production. So also who are keen on seeing the environment get better, but still not without sacrificing profitability.
That's true.
Right, nicely done. I think let's give these guys a round of applause. And I met this guy for the first time, was it what, in Nyanga, right? 2 years ago? 2 years ago?
2023, yeah?
2023, and he was remarkable, man. This guy had participated in Old Mutual's Value Creation Challenge twice, and the second time, lucky, that's when he won the whole thing. And he had this really different way of looking at waste. It seems like tonight we're dealing with entrepreneurs who've really looked at an environmental problem and said there's money there. So I don't want to spoil your sunshine, but thank you so much for coming out. We're going to let you talk about the business for a few minutes, and then I'm going to come back up and we're going to have a good conversation, all right? All the best, my brother.
Thanks, sir. Hi, guys. I only heard one. Hey, what's up, my guy? The others. Hi, guys. Guys, okay. Hi, guys. Exactly, yeah? Well, as he said, right, my name is MC. I always like to fancy myself as the glorified garbage man, yeah?
So we forgot something.
Basically, what we do as the Noble Savage, right, we basically have 2 divisions or 2 main branches of what we do, right? We've got first what we call our materials recovery facility. And we've got the second part, which is what I'm going to pitch more on. But materials recovery is we make money through your waste. Simple. Get your waste and we make money out of it. I won't talk too much about that. But what I want to talk a lot about is what we then do further with the waste, right? Zimbabwe, as it stands, we have a housing shortage of over 2.3 million, right? We are spending over $1 million importing kitchen countertops. And as she said, we are producing over 300,000 tons of plastic waste, 1.7 million solid complete. For us as the Noble Savage, we recycle waste plastic and glass to manufacture eco-friendly building materials which are lighter, stronger, durable, and affordable compared to what's on the market. We have got roof tiles, we've got pavers, we have kitchen countertops, fencing poles, and we've gone a step further and we've done a solar roof tile so that everyone can have access to energy. Now, all these problems and our solution, that is our simple business model. So I don't want to bore you guys too much. I love questions. Can we have questions?
All right, grab a seat, Susan. Grab a seat. Tell me, man, how long have you been in business?
Started in 2018, got incorporated in 2019.
2018, got incorporated in 2019, all right? And what about the particular area you're in attracted you to that area?
Okay, for a lack of a better term, I've shared the story with you how I actually started the business.
Yeah, but you haven't shared it with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I always just say a joke. The joke is, if you dream of dirt, what does it mean? Money, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
But the reason that got me into the business was after I paid a visit to my aunt. There was a hailstorm that happened around about the 2016, 2017. And that hailstorm actually took away my aunt's roof. Now she's late now, God bless her soul. And I've never seen pain, anguish, and worry all at the same time as I looked through my aunt's eyes as she had lost her roof. And I felt that, we need to have better ways where we cannot build our homes.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, fun story, I dreamt a dream. And that dream came with formulas that I then worked to build a business.
Anyone else got a question? Well, hook me up with some dreams. Bro. I need me some dreams real quick. All right, so let's get some questions in. And yeah, I think we got a question in the front here.
Are you already doing your counter jobs? And I can see you do not have a sample. I need to construct. So they'd love to see one.
Yes, we do have. In actual fact, I'll give you my card. You'll actually see pictures of our samples, or you can come through and I'll show you samples of our countertops.
Okay. Potential order already. All right, is that? No, it's not a hand here. Oh, do you want to ask a question? Go ahead.
I think what you're doing is amazing. And then I want to know a little more around the solar panels. The price, the origin market. You can tell us a little more about that.
Okay, so on the solar tile, right? Our solar tile is not yet in the market because we're now just left with one round of beta testing that we need to do on the tiles. And so when you're doing roof tiles, they need to go through the full seasons twice. Then they are now allowed to get into the market. So we're in the process of doing a beta test on our roof tile, on the solar one to be specific.
So see, you're saying, is this a regulatory requirement?
Yes.
Okay, so you're in your second year of testing.
Yes.
Okay. Oh wow, didn't know that. Eh? Right,
One other question, yeah. I'll then take it there.
Okay.
So when we're looking at costs, would you have average prices in terms of square meters or per unit for some of the products, whether it's pavers, whether it's roof tiles? I'm assuming they somewhat mimic concrete, yes?
Okay, so compared to concrete, we will save you up to 30% of cost, right? Because our roof tiles are $8.80 per square meter, and the concrete one, you are spending at least close to $10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
I heard that. like guys, like he knows his numbers, right? Go ahead.
Thank you once again. Since our brothers from the beautiful continent of China are here, so I wanted to ask that you check the cost, how comparable are the prices, and how is the business if you just compare yourself to those guys?
When you talk of the Chinese, okay, not a lot of people know the Chinese have got into the waste sector, right?
Yeah.
And they are getting us to really run for our money.
Yeah.
They got in, waste has become very valuable, right?
Yeah.
I'll give you PET. We used to buy PET at $50 a ton. But since the Chinese came in, PET now goes for $150 a ton. That's the cost.
Hold on. Break down what you mean PET. So
PET is your water bottles, the ones that you drink and throw away? Yes. So if you collect 3 tons, you're pretty much making a good bag. Right, but besides that, yes, the Chinese are a real concern, right? Our biggest challenge right now is actually when it comes to chromatic roofing. And chromatic roofing is now the go-to most preferred type of roofing because of its affordability. But where we are now trying to grow is Yes, you can do your chromatic roof, but your chromatic roof will never be as nice in the long term compared to your concrete. And we are competing specifically against what? Concrete. So that's the niche that we are focusing on.
Okay. Do you have another question, guys? Yeah, go ahead, Jay.
Right, so, but having background on the concrete, the roof tile, you're saying your product obviously have the cost savings. In terms of specs, is it way lighter? Is it as durable? What are the add-ons besides obviously the environment benefits?
Okay, so our roof tile is 50% lighter compared to your concrete roof tile, right? Because a singular concrete roof tile will weigh round about the ranges of 4 to 5 kgs per tile, 4.5 to be specific, and you're using about 12 per square meter. Ours use 5.5 per square meter, which will weigh 5 kgs per tile, meaning that the tile is about in the range of 28 kgs, 26 kgs per square meter, and your roof tile, your concrete one, is twice that. And then when you, the architect, right, as they're designing the roofs, the contractors, when it comes to trusses, because our roofs, our tile has zero absorption of water, that calculation is not needed, meaning that you can space your trusses up to 1.2 instead of the 600 that's there. Meaning that you're using less trusses, even your walls do not need to support a heavy roof, meaning that you can do a truss roof. It's just that the bylaw does not allow it, but you can do a truss roof at a brick thickness of 115 instead of 230.
So in English, okay. It's like construction guys are speaking to each other right now.
Okay, so in English, if you notice your walls, there's the 230, the double wall.
Okay, double.
Yes.
The thicker wall.
Now the bylaw for Bulawayo City Council is if you are putting a truss, your wall has to be 230, right?
Okay.
So
Thick
that
wall.
it supports the weight of the roof.
Okay.
Because when you're building, the two things that have got a lot of weight and they are your most expensive is your roof and your foundation, right?
Okay.
So because of the light weight of our tile, you can put it even on a 115 for it to support.
So 115 is a.
It's the thinner, the singular roof. You know, the one that's
So
like
let's break.
Yes.
So it's a smaller.
one line of bricks.
Okay, one
Yes.
line. Okay. Okay, cool. I think the other question was in terms of strength compared to, is that correct? Strength compared to the concrete one?
We don't even measure, you know,
Okay.
because ours is way stronger because of it's got a fluctual strength which is better than the concrete one. You can step on it and you can drive on it with a light vehicle.
That's what fluctual strength. Yeah, I needed a dictionary today. All right. Anyone else got a question? All right. I think we've got. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to ask Muti, what are the components you are using, considering you are saying the tile is light? But the follow-up question to that is the insulation on the tile when it comes to heat, considering as it is sub-Saharan Africa and so on this side. Is there need for insulation? Like those tiles, do I need to then say insulation? Assuming that your main component is plastic.
Beautiful question. Actually, part of the advantage is a ceiling is now more of a decorative instead for insulation. Yes, our tiles are made from plastic, but that's not the only material, right? We have 3 ingredients that we put in, which is your sand, right? Which is a great insulator on its own. And we've got plastic and one more ingredient that we put into it, which if I
That's your proprietary.
you guys can
Proprietary.
just read it.
Okay.
But those 3 ingredients allow that the tile becomes fire redundant because we melt and to manufacture
Fire redundant? For me, what does that mean?
Okay, you expose it to a flame, right?
Okay.
So the test that we carried out, we exploded with a blowtorch,
Okay.
what you use to cut metal,
Yes.
which is at about 1,200 to 1,300 degrees.
Okay. Very hot.
Yes. And when you remove it, it extinguishes.
Okay.
Yes, so it essentially, it won't burn, right?
Okay.
Yes, so that's why I mean by fire retardant.
Okay. And he was asking, so you said it doesn't need insulation?
Yes, no.
Okay, what was the other question, Sasson? So that we
And
make
also
sure
you were saying, because as well...
he's answered it.
It's answered, okay.
Yeah, I think it's construction guys talking to each other today, because I'm like, yo, that's a lot of technical. All right, is there anyone else who got a question? Oh, another construction expert. All right. It's like it's construction expo day. All right.
I'm doing architecture, so I'm speaking mainly from an architect's perspective. I wanted to ask, have you tested like your products in terms of like full scale buildings, paving and stuff? So I wanted to ask, have you done
Traction.
Is there an example of a place like how with your towers, etc.?
Yes, actually there is. There are about 3 houses which are in Majamshope that we've done. And we've also got them tested. We've not tested them with SARS, but we've tested them with the Cement and Concrete Institute, which is recognized by SARS.
Okay.
The only singular test that's left for us to carry out with our tiles per se is getting an actual certification with SARS for, what's the term? It's a thermal fire test. It's the only one that we need to get certification on to that, especially when it comes to our tiles. And then for the pavers, we also got them tested with the Cement and Concrete Institute. Now, your standard industrial paver performs at about 28 psi, right? That's your industrial...
English, remember.
So this is compaction strength, like, so...
More English. It's like, it's... what
okay, breaking point.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
right.
Thank you. All right.
So it's at 28 psi. Our pavers performed at 53 psi.
So that means, do they break easier or
No.
they break hard?
They break out.
Take time. Okay. Whew. Yeah, it's going to be a brain exercise tonight. All right.
It's not a question, it's just a I would advise that you try the panel beating industry for the bumpers. I think
Oh.
the material would do well there.
Oh, just
Okay.
to suggest, yeah.
So I say we do bumpers or we get their waste.
The material that you're using for the towel
Mm.
can do stronger bumpers.
Or if at that 50, at that strength, breaking strength of 50.
Okay, nice.
Just have a look.
We'll do that. Thank
Okay.
you. Another
What's
question.
production looking like in terms of, an order, like your daily output currently? Because it's a very good product, but
Production
given
capacity.
that when you're looking at such structures, these are usually things in the thousands. Can you currently meet demand, or can I say at least how much output are you putting?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or
so
if I hear that correctly, I ask him what's his current production capacity?
Yeah.
What's his plant? Okay.
okay, so we are able to roof a house every 14 days. So if you place an order, we'll have which is approximately about in the ranges of 1.5 to 3,500 tiles. So we can do that in 14 days for you.
Okay. And remind me again, price point.
Okay, so
Is it so not what's the price, but compared to someone going in and using concrete or Chromadeck, where are you percentage-wise in those markets?
30%.
30% cheaper across the board. Okay, so it's going to cost less and give you something that is what was that word again? The breaking one. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
You want to ask in terms of like your products, have you looked at other products besides solar tiles, the pavers?
Okay, no.
Other use cases.
So actually, it's interesting that you bring that up, huh? So we've got fencing poles that we're making from the same material, which they're obviously slightly heavier than your gum poles, but you leave them for your grandchildren, right? We're actually working on something with the government with that particular product. We then also have benches and bins, right? What we're working on is bring out, especially when it comes to the benches and the bins, which maybe I could just share this slightly, hopefully, if it comes out. But our desire we want those benches to become Wi-Fi hotspots and the bins to become Wi-Fi hotspots throughout the city. So that if you're anywhere within the city, you've got access to the internet. And you can also throw away your litter, right? So those are some of the projects that we've done. But we also then have gone also a step further. We've got a new one which is now coming on, which is now on the market, which is a briquette where we're making from waste. And the test that we've carried out on this, it burns better than firewood, right? So 90 minutes per kg compared to your 45 minutes per kg for firewood. It produces less smoke compared to your coal, right? And it also is more environmental, right? So these are the products that we're bringing out also into the market.
Okay. So my question to TMC is similar to what we asked the team that's doing amazing work at UZ, is for the people in the room, how can the people in the room help you put more fire to this flame that you've started?
Okay, first and foremost, awareness, right?
Okay.
If it's possible, go into our social media handles.
And those are?
It's the Facebook, it's at t.n.s
Okay.
Africa.
Okay.
Yes, that's for Facebook, that's for Instagram.
Okay.
And for LinkedIn, it's The Noble Savage.
Okay.
So like our Facebook handles. So awareness, number one. Number two, I love that we've got a lot of university students, we've got a lot of upcoming people that are going to also get to a point that they're going to demand the need to build houses. So consider us, right? When your parents are building, consider our product. And then I'm trying to think of the last, because that's a bit of a hard question. What do you want?
Yeah.
I would say from the room, those are the things really that I think of.
That you need. Okay. All right. Any other questions? All right. Nicely done, man. Nicely done. So one of the things I'd asked you to also sort of come through as well, and probably spend the last 5 minutes on this, is just to sort of share, to someone who's thinking about getting into the entrepreneurship game, what are some of the things that you've learned in this game, since you officially started the Noble Savage? That's coming on to what, 7 years ago?
Yeah,
right? It's been 7 years. Yeah, it's been 7 years. 7 years from you seeing what happened to your aunt and then turning it into a business. What are some of the lessons that you've been learning in entrepreneurship? And I asked this specifically of you because of the accolades you've managed to get along the way. I think now you're probably a seasoned speaker at a lot of these university campuses around entrepreneurship and those kinds of things. What are some of the things you can talk to us as the Pitch Night community that you've learned in your journey that we can take on in our journeys?
Okay. So there's what I always say. There are three things that, look, if you're to get into the entrepreneurship journey, these are three very fundamental truths that you need to answer for yourself or else don't. The first one is why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Before anything else, why are you doing what you're doing? I always love to say, look, if you decide to get into entrepreneurship because you suddenly want to make money, get a second job.
That's very true.
Get a second job. Because if you do not have your why answered, when days are dark, when things are hard, when the income is not there, you quit because your why has not been answered.
I want you to hold on to that thought, and I want you to share, can you think of a time where the chips were down for you? And before you share your one, let me share my one so that you don't feel like I'm putting you out on the spot. I remember at some point in the business where I went and stayed with our in-laws, right? Just to get the business going. And there's a point where we were so broke that I was praying that I hope my child doesn't fall sick because there's no medical aid, there's no money for anything. And I hope food doesn't run out in this house because they look at Mukwasha as broke, he's got nothing. And it's weird that, friends came through, diapers and money and all those things when needed. But that was a tough season, and it really got me to a point where I was asking, is this really the right decision? And I actually felt like a failure for a season, right? So what's your low story?
Yeah, okay.
Don't make it too depressing, 'cause people won't start business.
Okay, but let me talk of two, right? I used to be in Botswana, right? I ran a logistics business, then a fast food. Things are good. Went to SA, my partners, business started growing. I felt pushed out. Then I came back to Botswana, kept going. And then they then paid me my share. I came to Zim. I was pretty comfortable. I had enough. I had a few cents, right?
Yeah.
I put money into mining. I put money into fuel. And do you know how much I made? Zero.
Enough to start the Noble service.
No, I was actually left with nothing. Actually, I was left in debt, right? And it's also around about the same time I was also working on the Noble Savage, right? I had nothing. The only thing I had was my vision, my goal, and my desire. And there's a girl I was dating at the time. She broke up with me.
Yeah, broke guys are tough. To handle.
Because you know what she said? These were actual words. I think I'm dating below my standard. Right?
Now you've got a question. You've got a question. All right, so I think we. So let's go to number two. Step number two, right?
Number two,
Yeah.
right, is in business. As you're going through business is not linear. Business is not always going up. Sometimes it goes down. Sometimes it goes up. A couple of years ago, part of what we call our materials recovery facility, where we export waste. Now, waste is governed by global prices, almost like gold, right? We put in a lot of money in building up capacity so that we could export a good number of trucks of waste outside. We bought waste at a certain price. When the truck left, as it got to Ascot, it got arrested by VID. I get a call when the truck is now at VID. And I'm like to the driver, not that I support this. I'm like, why didn't you call me early before the truck got there? Because it would have saved us more. I got a fine, a ridiculous fine, $800, right? But I was fine because the cargo was worth more, no problem. It got delayed at the border, rains hit. When it got to South Africa, global prices on that particular commodity, where we put in every cent into it, dropped by 60%. Instead of making, because the truck was going to give us over 250,000 rands, yeah? We made a 60,000 rand loss, right? And we put in everything in there. All that we were left with was enough money to pay salaries, and we owed money. We tried to put it scrounge around 3 months. Failed to meet rentals for 3 months. My landlord locked me out at work.
At the business.
No, not at the house. Okay. Just where I stay.
At least you own where you stay.
For me, that was one of the darkest moments in my life. Because everything I had worked so hard for,
yeah,
I saw it crumble. Everyone I thought I could rely on, they are not there. I remember when I went to my landlord and I was begging, right? And the worst part about it, my landlord was my bamnani, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And
I've got very good in-laws after this.
His son actually wanted to get into recycling.
Oh.
So it was not tag and pull. I got to so low that I slept into depression. right? I know it might, but I think this is an important thing to talk about.
Yeah, go for it, man.
I slipped into depression to a point that I even lost the will to live, right? And at that moment, I remember I made a TikTok, right? Where crying, going, guys, you know, I failed as an entrepreneur and all that. I then decided to walk I stay in Paternoster. I see the railway line by Queen's Park there. I know it sounds dark, and I actually wanted to end it, right? And I just said, before I do this, let me write a letter to the next entrepreneur so they don't make the mistakes I made. Writing down that letter taught me 3 things.
So good,
I learned to appreciate what I had achieved. I learned that I could actually help someone else and speaking. And that was just enough time that a friend actually reached out and saw that TikTok. And I then found the help that I needed at that time, only to realize that my problems were not as insurmountable as I thought.
So good.
And guess what? The heavens opened. I met a friend I had not seen since I was in high school, who was a lawyer. He was my elderman. I was in junior counselor. Then he's like, see, something has been saying I need to find you. How's business? And I broke down. I told him, dude, this is what's happened, what. Then he said, no problem. This is not anything major. He prepared papers. He didn't charge me. I went and served my landlord. In 2 months, I regained all my assets. And we started again. Right? I lost that. And we started going again. And things started rolling out again. Then guess what? At a point where we've got calls, right? From big organizations wanting to do collaborations with us. We've been approached by a big company that wants to acquire us, right? So imagine if I'd ended it then.
So good, man. Right, man. So that's like a clappable moment, man. And thank you for sharing this story, because I think we had spoken about, you know, how hard it can get in the entrepreneurship space, and I think the importance of having community and people who are around you who you can sort of share these experiences with. So you shared with us. I think that was like the second example of how low things could get. So you said you had 3 things you wanted to share with us.
Yes.
Right? That's the first one. Know your why.
Your why, right?
Right? Because your why is probably going to sustain you in the most difficult of times. So it can't just be, I want to make money. It has to be deeper than the financial benefit. What's your second piece of advice to us?
Second piece of advice to every entrepreneur, anyone wants to start. Sorry, I get lost in my own head sometimes. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. So sometimes don't spend too much time trying to get everything in place. Just go.
Just go.
All right?
Just start, just go. You know, if I'm to show you the first samples I started with, not even perfect.
Yeah.
Just start. You do not need to see the entire pathway, right? You don't need to see the entire road all the way to Harare. All you just need is 100 meters, right? When you're driving.
Yeah.
And you'll get to Harare. So start.
Love it.
Because that's where the traction begins.
Okay.
I don't care what idea it is, it doesn't need to be perfect, just start, get the ball rolling. If it means you have to take up that call, make that phone call. You know, I hope you don't mind, I shared a few verses from the Bible.
I don't mind at all.
I'm paraphrasing here, right? If your child is to come to you and ask for fish, you won't give them a serpent, right? Give them a fish. But more your Father in heaven, who loves you unconditionally. If you ask, the Lord will bless you. So start. Show the Lord faith that it's not perfect, it's not 100%, but I believe that this is what I can do. Start, do it. And the last verse on this would be, you say ye have faith. That does as well. The devils also believe and tremble. So how different are you from them? But through action, right? Your faith can be seen.
It's good, man. That's good, man. And it reminds me of something I learned is that you get better in entrepreneurship by doing entrepreneurship, not talking or thinking about it, right? Number 3, land the plane.
The third one, can I just take my notebook so I read it?
Go ahead, go
because
for it,
sometimes,
go for it.
sorry.
Go for it. All right.
I'm getting older.
Very meticulous. All right, so Nate, whilst MC is getting it ready, do you want to come up and tell people when, after it's done, come and tell people when the next pitch night is happening? Is that okay?
And so it's the best.
All right, so the 1st of August. All right, so the 1st of August, that's our next pitch night, all right? So tell me, so that tells me something about you. How important is it to write down your thoughts in this journey?
If you write down something, that's already half the battle won. Does it make sense?
If you write down something, that's already half the battle won. Yes. And true, like to your story, man, you writing it down, you won, that was half the battle with the depression that got you to that point. All right, so let's get to number 3, bro.
Okay, so number 3 is my personal favorite. Huh? I just needed to read exactly how I wrote it. Don't stop innovating.
Don't stop innovating. What does that mean?
Okay. We've got, it's called, it's ICGRAS, huh? ICGRAS. The guys.
Anil, what's
the name of the company?
What's the English again?
ICRAS.
ICRAS.
So, as I was listening to ICRAS right there, I was laughing. I'm like, this guy's want to take away my business. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, they're making trays that don't need to be recycled. I'm sitting down and I'm looking, okay, the next step, these guys could do boxes, right?
Do boxes.
Right? That can be used over a long time, right?
Then the next step, do what? Okay.
But guess what? One of the things that I could cash cow for me is resale of used boxes. I export used boxes. Basically, the boxes that come, I bail them, I ship them off to a supplier, right?
Yeah.
They give me $135 a ton, I ship 34 tons. Not so bad, right?
Yeah.
Now, if the boxes no longer need to be recycled, but I love that you
So
guys.
the lesson you're saying is that understand that you could be doing well today,
Yes.
but there's someone who's innovating and
Yes.
keeps thinking that what's making it for you could actually be, they could take your lunch.
Yes.
So the idea is to keep creating more
Yes.
and more and more and more, so that as things change, you're still relevant.
Ahead of the curve. So don't stop innovating. So keep at it. No matter what business you're doing. Look, you can be selling a magui, right? Or selling whatever it is, or doing whatever it is. How differently do you do it? What makes you stand out? And that is how empires are built, because they did not stop innovating, right? Think of companies that stop innovating. There's the famous big global company, huh?
Yeah.
Nokia. It was on top. No one could beat Nokia. You remember those phones that you could hit someone and...
Yeah.
You know? Right? But Nokia is bankrupt, right? It's not there. Come even to Zimbabwe. Tell one is struggling, right?
Too close to home, Holmes. Too close. Too close. Too close.
Right? Because remember the story of Strive where he said that he went to tell one, or it was PTC at the time.
Yes.
And they said, nah, people want landlines, right? But now Tel One is begging you to take up a landline, right? So that they provide you internet. Because they failed to innovate. So keep innovating. Whatever field you are in, keep innovating. Don't stop innovating.
That's so good, man. That's so good. Thank you. Love that appreciation. You see, Anele and the team, thank you guys for coming out tonight and just sort of sharing with us what's possible when you dream, but not only dream, but actually take the steps to realize the dream. So we'll be checking out your story, like remember, and where's Anele? Anele, is it gone out? I'd love for them to share their handles. I don't think they got to share their handles. Just come through. Just share, like if people want to see the work you guys are doing, where are they going, Anele?